Hello and welcome to my channel. Hey, this is Juanita. Well, we are on day 43 and the last of my 43-day challenge of walking up 9 flights. It's been a lot of fun, but today's story is going to be very different. It's something I vacillated whether to share or not, but then I thought if it'll help somebody that is going through a similar situation, then telling my story is well worth it. So with that being said, if you like my video, give me a like, subscribe. Don't forget to hit the notification button so you catch me on all my videos and all my videos going forward. So with that said, I will see you guys shortly. See you soon. Well, I'm not really sure where to begin with this story, but I'm sharing it because to understand the story, you have to hear the whole thing. And so my story will begin back in 1997. I met a beautiful man. We dated, became great friends, and a year later, he asked me to marry him. Well, he was the kind of guy that I would have loved to have in my life. And it didn't matter whether we got married or not, because he was just so beautiful inside and out. Through the stress of all this planning, I could see that he was stressing. So I said, why don't we put all this down and not worry about it for now. You know, we have the rest of our lives. We don't have to rush into anything. And so he said, well, why don't we go camping? So we packed up the truck and off we went. We got to a spot where we both didn't feel very comfortable with. Drove a mile further, and there was this gorgeous campground. And so we set up camp. We built a beautiful fire and shared some beautiful moments and shared the beauty around us and had some great conversations. And then in the next morning, I went for my daily run. And through my daily run, I came across a lake. When I got back, I said, oh my God, there's this beautiful lake. Do you mind if we go there before we head home? And he agreed. So I helped him finish packing the truck up and took a walk and went to the lake. We sat there for a few minutes watching some people swim. And then we got into the water, shared a beautiful moment, and watched the kids playing in the water and the people jumping off of a spur. And then Henry said, you know, I think I'm gonna go swim out to that spur. And I don't know why I questioned him, but I questioned his ability to swim. I questioned his health. I questioned, oh my God, I questioned so many things. If he was even capable. When was the last time he had even gone swimming? He assured me that he was in perfect good health. He was a great swimmer, and there was no reason for me to worry. And if he couldn't do it, he'd just turn around and come back. So I said, okay, well, I'll sit here and watch you. Just wave to me when you get to the spur. And I was a bit concerned, but I thought, well, he should know his body. And so when he got up and left, he turned around and he said, I love you. So I said, I love you too. Asked me if I wanted something to drink, and I said, no, I'll just sit here and watch him. Well, my eyes veered away from him for just a split second, and when I turned back to see where he was, I couldn't see him. He was just nowhere. And so I got really concerned. So I started looking at the water, thinking, well, if he went swimming under the water, then I would see movement. But the water was still. I asked the kids that he had went by if they had seen him, and they said no. And so I started to panic, and I started calling people in for help. And I told them my fiance went out there, and now I don't see him. And they tried to tell me, well, maybe he went across the lake. And I said, no, he wouldn't have done that because he was swimming to the spur. And they said, well, maybe he went back to the campground. I said, no, he wouldn't have done that without talking to me about it. He was just, I kept saying, he was right there. And before I knew it, long story short, Lifeline came in, ambulance came in, emergency vehicles came in, and started searching for him. 5 hours later, they brought him up, and he was gone. And I was confused. I just didn't know what to do, what to think. All I could do was say, how did this happen? How can somebody just go for a swim and then just be gone? It just doesn't happen. And I mean, he wasn't sick. He was perfectly in good health. And they said, I don't know. We don't know how this happens. Maybe the water was too cold. And I said, it was really cold. But he said if he couldn't handle it, he'd come back. You know? They try to comfort me. And bottom line, he was gone. I was confused as to where I was. I didn't know how in the world I was going to call his family and tell him how and what happened, because I didn't even know what had happened. I couldn't even rationalize it, much less tell somebody that their brother was gone, and without even an explanation. So I struggled. I didn't know how I was going to get home. So I started searching through his clothing. I was just rifling through his stuff, and I just stopped, and I just screamed at the top of my lungs because I was so confused. I just couldn't believe that he was gone. This happened in August of 1998. And I still struggle with that time in my life. But at the time that this happened, a group of friends of mine that were very, very close, we were extremely close at that time. We did a lot of things together, and they're still in my life because they're just that kind of people. You know, friends are friends, and they're lifetime friends. And they didn't talk to me about that day. They didn't ask me what happened. Maybe initially, but I couldn't rationalize it. So they didn't ask me anymore. And so the way they helped me was just to take me out and start doing the things that I love, because I was a very active person. And when Henry died, all that seemed to have vanished into a dark hole, and nothing. I couldn't see beauty in anything. I was in fear of inviting anybody to go anywhere with me because I was afraid that if I invited them and something happened, that I would be right back to where I was. I was in fear of enjoying life. And my friends actually are the ones who rationalized that for me. And they rationalized my fears by explaining to me that the reason I feared so much about just even a simple hike was because I witnessed somebody going for a simple swim and passing away in the water. So now everything became fearful. And so what they did for me is they took me camping and hiking and doing all the things that I love to do. When I panicked and I didn't feel that I could go on, they were patient with me and just talked me through it, but continued our trip. And slowly and surely, I started doing things. Now, I still, to this day, and it's been several years, I still think twice before asking somebody to go with me somewhere. I still sometimes struggle with doing something, even so much as going out for a hike. I question myself. I fear it, but sometimes you just gotta go on and do the things, and I have to realize that Henry would not have wanted me to sit there and die with him. He would have wanted me to continue life and continue to do the things that we both loved, and more importantly, the things that I love to do. So the reason I'm sharing this story is because a niece asked me to call a friend of hers whose husband suddenly passed away during a ski trip. And I said I would do that, which I did. But I also thought that if you know somebody who lost a loved one, or if you lost a loved one, there is a light at the other end of the tunnel. Now, sometimes it seems like forever, but we do get through those times. That's not to say that I still don't reflect or that my mind doesn't go back to that time, but I do my best to just enjoy the outdoors and just appreciate the beauty once again, because I know that Henry would want me to. So if you have a friend who's struggling, take them out. Enjoy life with them. Don't put them back in that spot. Don't tell them to move on with their lives. Don't rush them, because everything takes a process. And it just takes time. With that being said, I really hope that this will be of help to you, and that you will be able to get on with your lives at the right time that you feel is suitable. Everything takes time. Everything is a process, and some take longer than others. Mine took 7 years, and as you can see, it's not completely a closed door, but now I can at least enjoy the things that I love once again. Even if there's trepidations with that, I still am learning to get back, as they would say, get back on the horse and conquer your fears. Okay, with that being said, I'm gonna leave it at that, and thank you for watching.